Hello, Coach L.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad that we had the chance to get together today, and I would love to hear what are you doing? How did you get to this place? And let us know.
Yeah. So I have been a yoga therapist and energy healer, embodiment coach, body worker. So I have been studying the body for a long time, initially because I had such a struggle with my own, both with pain and eating disorder. And I also was so empathic in this world that, like, I was always feeling extreme emotions in my body. So the kind of study of the body came from a way of just figuring myself out, but also learning all of these things that can help others to just, first of all, find home in their bodies. A lot of times we're so attuned to like looking outside of ourselves for answers and for what we should do. Um, so I am super grateful at this point for my body and all of the gifts that it gives me, and I love sharing that with others, and helping them find that in themselves. But what brought you to become a relationship coach?
Yeah, exactly the same kind of scenario as yours. And my relationship, usually the love relationship, didn't work in the past. And
Mm,
I had an opportunity when I sold my last company to see, okay, let's look and see what's going on here because apparently something is wrong and is not working and the patterns that I had. So I guess mine was a little bit different. I uh, ignored my emotions and I would not feel my feelings. And it was just, uh, I worked from my head and not through my emotions.
yeah.
And it was just interesting to see what you, when you just said it, it was like, oh my God, I was totally opposite of Aaron. But at
Yeah.
the same time, then I tell people that I was like a robot, just moving around and not really feeling my feelings. And now it's a different story. I worked on myself so much, and I went deep and deep and deep. I befriended my feelings, and now it's a different. I think that I even look different than before because of that.
Yeah. Oh, it totally does when we're like in our heads versus like in our bodies. There, our face changes, like our
Yeah.
expressions change.
Yes. Exactly.
What do you think has been your biggest lesson about relationships from the work that you've done? If there's like one key
The
lesson.
key, the foundation of any relationship with other people is to have that loving relationship with yourself.
So true. So true. In fact, I really believe that, like, or the way that I hold it is that the relationship that we have with ourselves or with our bodies is the most intimate one we'll ever have. And it
Yeah.
reflects on all of our other relationships, but it also reflects on our relationship with the world. And so much of our culture is like, take more than you give back. And when we really learn to respect the limitations of our bodies and our energy fields, then we learn to give that to others. We learn to say, oh, you need a boundary. You need a limit here. Let me not ask so much of you. Let me not ask so much of the earth. Let's find that like place of peace and harmony together because I've learned how to respect myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just comes, it's, I mean, the foundation is that. And then it just goes beyond that when okay, the feelings, honoring your feelings, honoring your, self love comes, then, self discovery comes, what your needs are. Are you actually fulfilling your own needs? I mean,
Yeah.
instead of going outside and ask other people to fulfill your needs.
Yeah, and I
So,
feel like one of the first steps is even recognizing, like, what are my needs and what are my
exactly.
desires?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first started so disconnected from myself, I remember I was in a workshop and the simple question was, "What do you want?" And I had already, I was like young, but I had already turned off all want, all desire. Like I didn't want anything. I didn't expect anything. I was just hardened and cold and icy. And I remember being like, I want to want. I want to want and to desire and to let that move me forward. And oftentimes that's like the first step to getting out of your head, because desire doesn't come from up here. It usually comes like that real desire definitely comes from our body. And one of the things that I love about our bodies is that they can't lie. They can't tell
Exactly.
stories like our head does. So when we start receiving messages from our body of like discomfort or ease or peace or whatever, it's like we can actually trust in that a little
Yes,
more than some of
yes.
the things our head will tell us.
I give you a story. You said that
Yeah.
it's so interesting. I had a client that all of a sudden she said that she woke up and with her this was swollen. I guess eventually we found out that she has TMG, the one that for
TMJ. Yeah, yeah,
TMG.
yeah.
And so we explored and see what was going on. It was the she wasn't able to communicate her needs to the husband,
Mm.
and it kind of made it went to that space of the anger was all the way in her jaw.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yes, so as
So
soon
amazing.
yeah, so when we explored it, we processed it together, and as soon as she did talk to him and they had the conversation, they communicated, the pain went away. And it was like amazing how the process worked, and how you, if you really go inside and ask yourself, what is it that that is what has been bothering me? What is it? What my pain, the back pain, the the whatever pain you have in your body, ask yourself, ask the body, what is it telling me? As you said, it's just interesting how our bodies are talking to us, and a lot of times we don't listen to them, to our bodies, and then that's why the illness comes the next.
Mhm.
If we ignore it for a while, then we neglect it, and just
Yeah.
it's amazing. I mean, just that story for me, and she was just amazed from when she had the conversation, and she really spoke to him from her heart.
Yeah.
Everything opened up.
It is because our body is processing everything that we haven't processed yet. It's like holding it. It's like waiting for us. I had a period of time, I have, some hip stuff, and I could watch that every time I had a conflict with anybody close to me, my hip would flare, and I was holding all of this relationship baggage in my hips, and that just is, like, one of the things that, I really felt like every time I felt devastated, it's like my hip was the thing that held that feeling.
Yes.
So it is really interesting, but we have to be paying attention
Yeah.
to what's happening in order to catch these things, in order to, relate to that, um, kind of part of ourselves that is speaking. And there's a saying that, like, at first your body whispers, then it speaks, and then it yells at you in pain. So can we actually be aware of, "Oh, my body's speaking to me. Oh, my body's speaking to me around this." Um, it is and one of the cool things about being connected to your body is you can become a really good lie detector. Like, when you are practicing being really clear, it's like the truth resonates with our body. The truth makes us feel spacious and, like, say, "Yes." That's like, yes, it gives energy. And when there's a lie that walks into the room and you're just like, "Yeah, why don't you try that again? Because, like, this is not gelling." There's a whole bunch of, like, blocked up things. So our body is offering us so much feedback all the time that, we often think mind over matter, but there's so many neural pathways. There's actually more neural pathways coming up from our body to our brain, which is kind of a sign that we should be listening to our body a little more than demanding so much of our body and telling our body to be quiet and move over and behave and, like, to do all this stuff, but to really have that relationship first with our body and then with another.
Yes. So it's amazing. I mean, how we get to from where we were and where to today and where we are today. It is a lot of work, but at the same time, it's so rewarding to just sitting here and thinking and going within and say, okay, what are you telling me? What is it that I want? What is my need today? I mean, I there's a kind of an exercise I ask my clients that to be aware of if they like to do, to put alarms on their phones, and then like two or three during the day, and when the alarm goes up, then they ask themselves a question: what is your need? What do you want right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it can be as simple as, okay, I'm just want to go up the street, go for a walk, stretch, or anything, or just get my coffee, or
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So it's just being really loving to yourself, truthful to yourself, and asking yourself questions every once in a while to see where you are, and come from your head to your heart, basically.
Yeah. And knowing where you are, I love the saying that I can't be close to you if I'm far from me.
Yes,
And
totally.
so many times when we feel far from ourselves, that's when we start getting so needy and so clingy to the people around us and so demanding of the people around us, that or we shut down and disconnect from everything. But to like really be able to label and name, this is where I am, this is what I am, this is like me, then we can actually have an intimate relationship or conversation with somebody else that is giving us connection. I work with so many people who are overgivers, who are just like always there. They're the caretakers of the world. And they
I
often feel
was one.
depleted. Yeah. And you often feel depleted after you've been around people who you love because there's some way that you're giving and you're more connected to their energy than to the exchange of your energy and their energy, where you would feel revitalized and fulfilled after those engagements. So, it is such a I love that you have people checking in with themselves frequently throughout the day. It's a very
Yeah,
powerful practice.
yeah. So it's you can do it. We all can do it. It's just a process,
So easy. Yeah.
and just being conscious about it and understanding and wanting to go a step forward and get to that space of loving, and
Mhm.
that self-love, not thinking that it's going to be a negative part of you. It's actually a positive part, to understand that you need love, to give love to yourself.
Yeah, and oftentimes we reach away from ourselves because we don't know how to handle some of the feelings that are there. Some of the feelings that our body holds are really, really big. And so I often like to help folks kind of consider that who we are, who we really are like infinite things trying to cram into this little body. And Pema Chodron said that you are the sky, everything else is the weather. So when you feel like overwhelmed when you're doing that check in with yourself, just you are not your actual feeling. That's not who you are. I like to say the only way to ever define yourself is as infinite. And when you
Yes.
can connect with that infinite part of you and realize, like, okay, this is just a sensation that's moving through. This is just an experience that's moving through. This is not, I'm not going to get caught. I'm bigger than it. Then, when our partner triggers us, then when we're in relationships, then when we get all reactive, we can just be like, okay, let me just watch this storm pass. Let me hold my sense of center and self. I don't need to overreact or engage right now. I can like really hear what his storm or her storm is all about. And once I understand where they're coming from, then I can respond with some of this stuff. But to just know that we can create our own containers and we don't need to fix and change every little thing in the world to feel okay when we go to that like big space within us. So,
Yeah, exactly. And if you're in a conversation and it gets to a point that it's not pleasant, you can always say, I would like to continue this conversation, but not at the moment. I need some time to process this. And can we have a conversation in 2 hours, tomorrow, in 2 days, whenever? And
yeah.
just, yeah, and just process that on your own. And then you can come back. And because then we go back to those past negative interactions, and we kind of interact with from that space, not from a space of today.
Yeah, totally. Like if you are thinking that the solution is for something to change in somebody else, you have not done your work. So definitely take that time to come back and be like, how do I get myself good? What are my needs? How am I good no matter what? And when you have that answer, that's the time to start communicating.
Thank you so much. It was a great
Thank you,
pleasure
Mel.
having this conversation. And guys, if you have any questions, you can make comments and send it to either one of us, and then we'll get back to you. We're going to have these conversations every week, and it's going to be a different conversation every week, but it's all about relationships and with yourself and people around you, and how to actually go step by step from maybe where you are to that authentic, beautiful self that is inside of you that has been kind of not coming out yet.
Deserve to shine.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
so much,
great night.
Mel. Be
Bye.
well.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.